All right. You guys ready for some hippie after dark here? So I actually made a video and I just stopped here at All American Hot Dogs. By the way, it's a really good restaurant for it's not the healthiest food in the world, but it's a hell of a lot better than McDonald's healthy. And for what you get, I think it's cheaper than McDonald's too. But don't tell them that so they don't raise their prices. But yeah, well, this is already starting off different from what I wanted, but I think All American Hot Dog is probably one of the best restaurants for the money. There is really good food. Like, you can get a double cheeseburger, fries, and a drink for $8.99, and I don't know many places you can do that. I mean, hell, Arby's is damn $13 for a value meal. So anyways, I wanted to talk to you guys about some series of events that happened today. So some of y'all know that I got in an accident. Well, I didn't get in an accident. Well, yeah, I was the victim of an accident. And a guy borrowed a girl's car that did not have insurance. He did not have a driver's license. Convicted felon or convicted child molester or something like that. Hit my trailer, messed me up, left the scene. Cops found him and gave him a ticket. Okay. Earlier today, which I made a video right when it happened, but it kind of went off the rails, so I kind of wanted to redo that video. Earlier today, I was driving down Southside. There was a traffic light. It was green and green for a while. It's not like it just turned green. A guy gets on his bike and just rides out in the middle of traffic, and all of us had to slam on the brakes. In fact, the guy who was behind me locked up his brakes and almost ran. He veered off. If he didn't veer off, he would have hit me. Which he probably didn't have a driver's license or insurance either. And then on a few videos ago, I talked about random people just walking out in the middle of traffic, not giving a shit at all. And I've been trying to think, why does all this stuff, why do people just don't care about the law anymore? And I honestly think that it's the police fault. I think it's a fault of the police, is the fact that here in Jacksonville, and I have been told this by cops, but here in Jacksonville, unless it's a physical assault as it's happening, guns, or major drug bust, they don't care. They don't care if you haven't renewed your license plate since 2002, which I just saw a few days ago. I never talked about it, but I remember seeing there was a car and the license plate expired in 2002. That's over 20 years ago. Now, I'm not saying the car has been driving on the road for 20 years. Maybe they just got it back up and running or bought it at an auction. Hell, I don't know, but I'm just saying what I saw. But the amount of license plates that I see that are 6 months to a year out of date is quite dramatic. I mean, I would say, well, depending on if I go to Walmart or not, I'd say probably about 3 a week that I see that are 6 months to a year out of date. But yeah, I kind of think it's the lack of policing on small things. Oh my God, it got dark. Here, hold on a second. I'm gonna open up the garage door. Yeah, that lets in a little bit more light. But I honestly think it's the lack of policing for the small stuff that's allowing bigger things to happen. And I'm going to tell you a case in point here. This morning I was on Lim Turner, and I actually told my customer about this. I was working on a house over on Lim Turner, or off of Lim Turner, Palmdale area. And I'm sitting at a traffic light. The light's red. I'm sitting at the traffic light now, in the turning to the left. Yeah, over here. There's 2 cops sitting in the turning lane. And the light for us turns green. Okay. And it's like green, car drives across. There's no way the cops didn't see that person run a red light. And if our light is already green and then they go across the line, they had to run a red light that's already been red for at least a few seconds. Both cops just sit there, nothing. And there's a possibility if it was one cop, maybe he was on his phone, maybe he was looking at his computer, I don't know. But with two cops sitting at a traffic light and someone blows through a red light to where we started, like we were just on the verge of moving forward, we're like, uh-oh, the people causing the non-lawful activities are ultimately to blame because they're the ones that are not following the law. But I'm starting to assume that maybe the police lacking on the small things is what's causing bigger things to happen. And I'm not anti-cop at all. I mean, I am anti-bad cop. I think cops that infringe on people's rights and, accuse, like for me personally, I had a trailer stolen a long time ago, and the cops threatened me because they thought I was lying that my trailer was stolen. And I'm like, no, my trailer was here. I left for 30 minutes. I come back, it's gone. We ended up finding video of the person hooking up to it. We find video of them driving right in front of my mom's house with it. But for a good 30 minutes, they was accusing me of, filing a false police report. And they actually, at one point, said that they could arrest me for lying. And I said, I dare you. I was like, I dare you to arrest me for lying. But yeah, it's just I think the cops are letting so much stuff slide, either by orders, unintentionally, intentionally. I don't know. I'm not in their mindset, but it's getting to a point to where maybe that's the reason that more stuff is happening, because so much little stuff is just allowed to happen. Like if they legalize, say, marijuana, let's say that's legalized, which I think it is, well, the people who want to be on the outer fringes and doesn't want to be part of the organism that is lawfulness, they're going to want to break the law to get more of a rush, to get more of a high. I have broken the law in the past, long time ago. I've learned my lesson, and I know it's not worth it. That being said, there is an adrenaline connected to breaking the law, to speeding, to, driving off the road and knocking a couple of trash cans into oblivion, to just do stupid stuff as a kid. You get adrenaline out of it. And so I can understand the mindset of someone who is not necessarily breaking the law to feed their family, but I'm talking about just as a form of escapism from boredomness or reality in itself. But there's these little things that need to be stopped so it doesn't progress to greater things. And this is me trying to redo a video that I made. I haven't posted it, but yeah, it was a way different context and a lot of different words. But yeah, it just the things that I personally, as one person, noticed throughout my journeys, in this one little podunk town. I think that if smaller things were being addressed, as far as smaller unlawfulness, I think they wouldn't have to worry so much about the big crimes, and maybe it's lack of staffing, maybe it's training. I don't know. I'm not a cop. I know kind of sort of a cop, but he won't talk to me on this channel, because he in himself is, I'm not going to say scared, but he's he's being overly cautious because, as being a cop, you're being threatened on a daily basis, and he's not going to put himself out here. And almost every cop that I do kind of sort of know, like, I'm not best buddies with any of them, but the ones I do know and I have conversations with, they're pretty much like, it's all the hires up. Our hands are tied. We can't do anything. So, anyways, that's my version 2 of a video about the police and the criminal activity and the things that are happening, and we are all just I do want to tell you one other thing since I'm on the subject. God, it's been a few weeks ago, but I talked with a person. As a woman, I don't remember exact title, but she is kind of sort of in charge of like media questions. I'm not saying she's a media liaison, but she is kind of like in that same realm of things. And I asked her a direct question, and she said she couldn't be specific on the numbers because I was asking for statistics. I says, but the crimes that are happening the increase in crimes that are happening here in Jacksonville, not about walking across the street or anything I talked about earlier, but just across the board, the guns, the drugs, all this big crime that's on the news, and you hear about these rings and all this stuff. I was like, the ones that are getting arrested, are they from here, or are they from other cities that are coming here and then bringing that philosophy or that business model here to Jacksonville? And she says 9 out of 10 are outside of Jacksonville. And I says, when you say that, I was like, are they like within a year or two, or are we talking 10 years ago they moved to Jacksonville? They say they're all fairly new to Jacksonville. So, and her specific field is she dealt in like domestic violence, that type of stuff. And she's saying that's like 9 out of every 10 is outside. So I am at least glad to say that the criminals that are infecting our city aren't from here. They're basically they're coming from places, say Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, things like that, And one other little thing, I realize I'm running a little long here. If you're bored and you want to dive into this, I watched a video last night, and it kind of shook me a little bit, but it talks a lot about the underculture of streets, not necessarily here in Jacksonville, but it's from a couple days ago, and it's Channel 5. If you type in Channel 5 San Francisco, it'll pull up, and it's like a white man and a black man standing like on a curb. And if you're bored, if you like to consume knowledge, it has a lot of knowledge in there to understand, and there is some politics, but he pretty much stays in the middle for what I can tell. But it's an interesting thing if you're so inclined of watching a video about people who on the streets, whether they live there, work there, hustle, visit, whatever you want to call it. It does talk a lot about the different aspects of being on the street. So it was a very interesting watch, and I learned a lot that I actually didn't know. A new side of a very old story. So anyway, but it's Channel 5. I think it's Channel 5 with somebody, but if you type in Channel 5 San Francisco, it's a white man and a black man standing like on a sidewalk somewhere, and it's from a few days ago. So, but if you're bored, it's like 45 minutes, a long video, but or if you want to learn about some other stuff, you can always just type in Kensington Street and see what happened to one street in Philadelphia. It's American Street, and they actually have a coroner just drive down the street to pick up dead bodies. This is in America now. This is in America. Not is in America. This is in America. Try to find some peace, love, and money. I'm out.